Hi, and welcome to another great episode of Dietitians Dialogue. My name's Jamie Portnoy, your host. Today we have a very, very special guest, Dr. Sandy Goldberg. Hi, Dr. Sandy.
Hi there, Jamie. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very, very much for coming on the show today. So before we get started, we want to get to know you a little bit better. So can you let us know a little bit about yourself?
Oh my, wherever do you want me to start? Well, I am, as you said, Dr. Sandy Goldberg. I am a nutritionist. I'm with NBC News in Chicago. That is what is known as a shameless plug. On the weekends, I have my own health and nutrition segments called Food for Thought. And I'm also the founder of a nonprofit called A Silver Lining Foundation.
Wow, well that is an accomplishment in itself, all of those things. So before we get into all of those different aspects of what you just talked about, can you tell us, how did you become interested in nutrition?
I don't think you know this story, Jamie. I suffered with a really extreme weight gain problem, or excess weight problem, my whole life. And I tried losing weight, and I tried, it just didn't work. Have any of you, any of your viewers ever felt that way, that you felt like the yo-yo of the Western Hemisphere? And that was the way I felt, Jamie. I'd lose weight, I'd gain weight. I figure I must have lost and gained about 2,000 pounds in my life. And one day I bent over to tie my shoe, and guess what? I couldn't reach my foot. And that was it. I decided, enough of this. And I was going to lose weight, and I've lost 183 pounds, wow. And it's been off for 41 years on February the 1st. It's been off for 41 years.
Wow.
How can that be when I'm 35? I can't figure that out.
Well, you look phenomenal.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing that story with us. So, what do you do on a typical day?
Now that is another excellent question. Generally, if it's during the week, I go to our foundation offices, and I'm working there pretty much all day. And I do what pretty much everyone in our office does. I answer phone calls. We're always looking for funding. I meet with people. I certainly meet with funders. And also, I will write my segments for the weekend.
And so this NBC, how long have you been with NBC?
Well, it was 20 years in April. And you know what happened? I called 20 years ago and I said, I have something to say about health and nutrition, exactly like what you're doing here. And I talked to the executive producer of the morning show, and he said, come on one time, and I've been there ever since.
Wow.
And it's a great environment.
It is, and it sounds like a great environment. And what you do on a typical basis is wonderful to get your point across.
Well, I appreciate that. And as you and I were talking about the show, I think what's important about what both of us do is we know as viewers what kind of information we want to hear, and in the language we want to hear it in. Don't you think so? I mean, when things get very complicated, how do you explain?
Absolutely. I do. I think it's great that we want to get our point across, and I also think it's great that, the community wants to hear nutritionist point of view. So absolutely.
And I think when you mentioned the view that we have, is that the view that we have is objective.
Correct.
It's not tainted by any sponsorships. It's not tainted by anything other than the fact that, certainly having the training that we both have and being able to identify what it is that really is valid, as opposed to, you get these calls, I'm sure, what do you think about? What do you think about?
So you seem very passionate about this one topic that I really would like to bring up, this foundation that you have. Can you touch a little bit on that?
Oh, just get me started on my baby here. It's called A Silver Lining Foundation. And it was started, my husband and I started in 2002. I'm a breast cancer survivor. And I've been fortunate enough to have great insurance. And through a series really of almost fortunate circumstances, I discovered something that wasn't fortunate for other people. And that's other people needed access to breast health testing, to information, to education. And so we started a Silver Lining Foundation in 2002. It's grown now to include 5 programs. At my heart, is our program that we call Buy a Mom a Mammogram. And what we do is we fund the entire spectrum of breast health testing from the walk-in-the-door mammogram, the screening mammogram, through biopsy. And if one of our ladies, or men, because men can get breast cancer too, as you know, is diagnosed, they're taken care of for free. And that is, frankly, the most important thing that I think we do. We have a wonderful education program for young women. But let me segue back for a moment and address your viewers, if I might. Jamie's viewers, Jamie's loyal viewers, if you or anyone you know needs a mammogram and can't afford one, please feel free to call us at a Silver Lining Foundation. Jamie, can I give the number? Is that okay?
Absolutely. I would encourage you to give the number.
Thank you. Thank you. It's 312-345-1322. And I thank you for that, Jamie.
And I thank you for giving us that number.
Yeah.
So with that education that you provide, can you go in a little bit more detail what kind of education that you provide?
We have a program that's designed specifically for young women. And the reason that we have that is because we think that young women, certainly it's the future, certainly young women should learn to be advocates for their own health and certainly their own breast health. And also, the voice of youth many times is the messenger, is the conduit to adults, certainly in families and in communities. And we at a Silver Lining Foundation work primarily with uninsured and underinsured individuals. We don't care anything about their background. We don't care about their finances. We don't care about where they came from. We care breast health information. So we started a program for young women, and it's a multimedia presentation by a trained survivor. It shows a video on how a proper breast self-examination should be. We pass around models, talk a lot, open really the doors for young women who, many of whom have tremendous questions. And we also dispel myths concerning how one can get breast cancer. As we hear all the time, can we get it from deodorant? No. Can I get it from sleeping in my bra? No. So we address the entire spectrum, certainly of the education standpoint, and also our hope, which we have found to be very true, is that these young women go home to their families and to their communities and say to their mother, their aunt, their neighbor, have you had a mammogram? And if not, here's a place you should go. And we actually have ended up creating a program specifically for adult women.
Wow, that is wonderful. And you know what? That is a really, really, really great organization that you have created.
And I thank you for that. But you know, you and I were talking about something that I would like to address, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
And that's the aspect about how nutrition really is the basis for health and can stave off or certainly lower our risk factors for disease.
Correct. And you know, as you and I were talking prior to doing this show, it is everything that goes into your mouth.
There you go.
So we're both in related fields.
Yes, we are. You being a dietitian.
And you having your PhD in clinical nutrition, is that correct?
Right. And there's a difference, but it's related. So why don't you tell your viewers and me, what a dietitian, how did you go about becoming a dietitian, what training?
So I got interested in becoming a dietitian because prior to going into college, my mom had a heart attack. So while my mom had that heart attack, that just completely changed my eating habits and everything. So I took one class in nutrition and voila, became a dietitian. So how did you become interested in getting your PhD in clinical nutrition?
I had lost my weight, and as I had said before, and it interested me, the relationships of the food, that I wasn't hungry. I mean, granted, a lot of it is mindset. But I just became more interested in food, other than French fries, and how those foods were helping me accomplish my goal. And I already had actually a master's in English. And I decided to go back to school because the subject fascinated me so much. And then I took my master's and PhD in clinical nutrition, and it's been full steam ahead ever since.
Absolutely. So, you know, there's a lot of talk about the difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian.
Right.
Do you ever get those questions?
I do. And since you're the dietitian, why don't you tell your viewers what you had to do in terms of your training?
Great. So when you become a dietitian, you have to go through a 4-year didactic program, and that means that you just have to complete coursework, and that coursework has to be obviously accredited by a didactic program. And then after you complete that, you can then go on to either an internship, or you can do an internship and a master's program. And then once you complete that, then you sit for the boards and then become a registered dietitian.
Right. And now it's my turn?
It is your turn.
Right. In terms of being a nutritionist, it is a more academic outlook in the main. You take your master's, you take all your science courses, you take your physiology, anatomy and physiology, and then if you decide to go on, then you pursue your PhD in nutrition. It does not, in the main, involve an internship. So, a dietitian can be a nutritionist.
Correct.
A nutritionist, however, without additional training, cannot call themselves a dietitian.
And that is actually, we tend to get all of those questions,
Right.
because are you a nutritionist? Are you a dietitian? So, you know, that's actually great clarity, because, you know, a lot of times people want to know the difference.
And you know, I think people should know the difference, and I think there has been such a gray area. But you've taken it even a step further in terms of, you know, all your additional certifications, and I think that that really plays in to the role of what you're doing. Why don't do your viewers know about that?
I don't think they know about
Well, why
that.
don't you share it with us then?
So what would you like me to go into detail with?
Well, I'm thinking about Zumba. I'm thinking about
Oh.
I'm thinking about all of that.
Okay, so after I became certified in nutrition, or got my, you know, registered dietitian degree, I then decided, well, you know, nutrition, exercise, those play hand in hand. Why not get certified in exercise? So I decided I'd become certified in primary group exercise through AFA, and then get certified in arthritis, get certified in Zumba, and then just tie all that together and then create a weight loss program.
Oh, that's tremendous. But, and you know, something that you and I were sort of emailing back and forth about, you know, is the role of all of your training and my training on life in general and different stages of life.
We go from obviously kids to adolescents to adults. We're always going to have different nutritional recommendations.
Right.
And when we're having different nutritional recommendations, it's always going to tie into eating around 3 meals and 2 snacks throughout the day.
Right.
We're going to want to always aim to have plenty of water throughout the day. But, you know, it's always going to tie into nutrition.
The baseline always is. But do you think that it's also the combination of slotting in the exercise, of looking at, which I know you agree with me, so there's nothing like asking a question when you know what the answer is going to be, but in terms of the needs throughout the stages of life, and then putting some sort of, I call it movement at my age, as opposed
Yes,
to exercise.
absolutely.
But incorporating that as well.
Absolutely. So exercise plays a huge role. Exercise is, you know, obviously when you're little, exercise isn't usually a problem.
Right.
Because we have recess, we have, we're very active, and then obviously once we could start to get a little bit older, physical activity will start to, you know, kind of decline a little bit. But yes, exercise is always going to play a role into.
And do you think it has to be like exercise where you go to a class? Because I think in terms of my own schedule, I don't have time to go to a class, but I walk every single day. What about the different modalities of exercise that really can help us along with the nutrition?
So exercise also, you know, generally we recommend 10 minutes of exercise per day, and ultimately goal is going to be 5 to 7 days, 30 to 60 minutes. Yes, ideally, we would love to get out to that gym or love to do an exercise class. However, you know, walking is going to be just as sufficient. Is it going to get our heart rate up? Maybe not. But again, as long as you're keeping your body moving, you know, I would recommend just doing at least a little bit of walking as opposed to being sedentary and sitting in front of the TV.
You just made me feel so much better.
So I want to just touch on, you know, what are your goals? Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Hopefully adding more to my 9 grandchildren.
9
group.
grandchildren.
Yes, yes, and 7 of them are now taller than I am. So hopefully, so there is certainly a message out there. Grandma would like more grandchildren, but in all seriousness, to be able to continue pretty much what I'm doing now, certainly with our family over at NBC, but also to continue to expand our foundation, to be able to include more people with more services in a broader area. And obviously to continue to spread the word about the impact of good nutrition.
Absolutely.
Which is really what it's all about.
And is there any specific messages or, you know, something you want to leave to our viewers?
Now that is a loaded question because I can talk for hours and hours and hours on that. In terms of a specific message to those of you who are fortunate enough to be watching Jamie, everything that she has to say is more than relevant. And what I know she tells you all the time, that you are the best advocate for your own health. You are the best participant in terms of making sure that your health continues on a more or less even keel. And as I would tell all of you, make sure that you stay hydrated and don't eat too much salt.
Very good. Well, Dr. Sandy, thank you very much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. And again, one other thing before I do let you go, is there a specific timing that you can let us know to tune in to NBC on the weekends?
Thank you for that, Jamie. And again, nothing like a shameless plug on my part. Yes, I'm on every Saturday and Sunday morning on NBC, that's Channel 5 in the Chicago area. And if you turn on your television or TiVo, somewhere around 6:35, I generally come on somewhere between 6:35 and 6:50 every Saturday and Sunday morning. And yes, it is live. And yes, I am awake, sort of.
Well, again, it was a pleasure having you on. It was an honor to have you on the show. And again, we hope to have you on again sometime.
I certainly look forward to it, and thank you for having me, Jamie. It's been a joy to be out here and to be talking with you today.
Thank you again very much. Remember, if you embrace nutrition, nutrition will embrace you. This is your show. I want to hear what you have to say. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Check out our website, www.dietitiansdialogue.com. Have a great day.